Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Sean Boland. I'm marketing coordinator for the Data Incubator, and I want to thank you all for joining us tonight for our live info session webinar for our Data Science Fellowship Program. Just a little bit of information about the Data Incubator. We are a company that started in 2014 in New York City as a fellowship program for people who are looking to transition from academia to data scientists. We accept applications from people who are completing their PhD and master's degrees and looking for roles as full-time data scientists. We train these people full-time over the course of 8 weeks and connect them with hiring partners to get them placed in jobs and start their careers as full-time data scientists. Beyond the Data Science Fellowship, we also offer corporate training programs for organizations that are looking to upskill their current workforce, as well as online courses for students who are looking to learn part-time on their own and working full-time. Today, we're talking about our Data Science Fellowship program, and I'm joined by Amanda Minsky, one of our career counselors and program managers, and Zach Glassman, one of our data scientist instructors. Zach is actually an alumni of the fellowship program and was hired by the Data Incubator following that. Amanda will continue and tell us a little bit about herself and a little bit more about the program. And Amanda, take it away.
Thanks for the introduction. My name is Amanda. I have been with the Data Incubator since this past summer. And as mentioned, I'm the career counselor and program manager. So what that entails for me is once you're into the fellowship, I'll be helping you with your resumes, cover letters, interview prep, basically everything non-technical to help you get a job. I'm the go-to person. So that can include 5 drafts of a resume, 2 drafts of a cover letter, and maybe just kind of doing a few mock interviews. But my job is to help you find a job. So whatever that entails, I'm here to help.
Thanks, Amanda. And just a reminder to everyone that we're here to answer your questions. So please enter your questions into the chat on the right-hand side. You'll need to be signed in with a Google or YouTube account to be able to enter your questions. But as I said, we're here to take your questions. So please, please, please enter any questions that you have, and we're happy to answer them. Zach, if you can, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Zach.
Oh, no. Zach.
3 instructors at least location. So as Sean mentioned before, I was at one point a fellow. Yes?
Go ahead. Sorry, you just cut out for a minute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was a fellow at one point. My background was in atomic physics. I decided I liked computers and data science-y things a lot better. And I have been teaching here ever since. I've been here for about a year. And my job is to teach you all of the data science-y things and really help you progress in really a technical sense, both in terms of your programming and data science skills, but I also help out with preparing you for technical interviews and thinking a little bit more about data science in a broader context.
Thanks, Zach. So to just let everybody else know a few more things, we also run a free monthly webinar series called Data Science in 30 Minutes. Our next episode is going to be October 25th. Each of these is at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can find more information about that on our social media pages as well as our website. And also, you can find out more information about the fellowship program at our website. That is www.thedataincubator.com. So we actually have our first question here, and I'll go ahead and read it. It says, can you please explain more about the fellowship program? Thank you. So Zach, can you tell us a little bit more about the fellowship in terms of what students learn coming into the program, say the first 2 weeks, up through what they learn to the last week, the final week, 8th week?
Sure. The way that I like to think about the fellowship is that we take people who are coming out of academia, so people that really have, I would say, 80 or 90% of what they need to know, and we give them that last 10 or 20%. So I will go through kind of what we do each week. So the first, I would say, week is really about data wrangling. So you'll be doing a lot of programming, a lot of sort of pandas, data manipulation, web scraping, things of that nature. Then we'll go into machine learning. There'll be sort of multiple weeks of machine learning, both basic and some more advanced topics. We will also cover distributed computing. So this is the idea of using many computers when one just isn't enough. So we'll be covering that both in the context of MapReduce and Spark. We will also have a week for data visualization, a week for what you might call practical data science. So how do you take a data science project and actually apply it in a business case? And then I guess last but not least, we will have a week of TensorFlow and neural networks. So we really cover the wide gamut between, in terms of instruction, from data wrangling up through neural networks. While you're doing this, there will be weekly mini projects, which are kind of simulating the data science workflow for each of these topics. You'll also be working on a capstone project, which is your own project that you sort of see through from start to end. And this is sort of an important component of our program here.
Thanks, Zach. And also a little bit more about the fellowship just in general. This is an 8-week full-time program. We're located in New York City, Washington, D.C., and San Francisco Bay Area. And for the most part, people participate in person full-time, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 p.m. And we also have the option for people to participate online. So one of the questions that we actually have here was, can you explain how the internet sections work? And I think that really is asking about how someone can participate in the fellowship as an online fellow. Additionally, the program is free for accepted fellows, and we also have a paid option for that we call the Scholars Program. Amanda, can you tell us a little bit about how it works for students that are participating as fellows online?
Sure. So the technical part is still pretty much the same. We have had people that are abroad and take the fellowship online, and so kind of they have to watch the videos because they're all recorded later on. But in terms of working with me, you know, we would, just as I would do for my fellows that are in Oakland. So I work with the ones in Oakland and the ones online, and then we have another career counselor who does the 2 on the East Coast. So just like with them, we would set aside a time to work with me on your resume, on your interview prep, and on your cover letters. So the biggest hindrance hindrance for me and the hindrance for you is just being able to do this all online. It is a lot harder, but it can be done. And I've had extremely successful resumes and extremely successful candidates when we do this online. And sometimes having to work online is another added pressure in the sense of prepping for interviews. So if that's if you're in that realm of you kind of get a little camera shy or whatever the case may be, that actually may be a good option for you to really get out of that your comfort zone if you need to be online. And I'm happy to work around that. So don't worry about it in that regard. My job, and obviously Zach's job to teach you the technical side, is to help you prepare for this. So we are here to help you.
Thank you, Amanda. Our next question we have is, do you have a rough timeline for the admissions process? As in, when are the semifinalists announced and when are the finalists? Zach, I think you might be able to speak a little bit more about that.
Sure, yeah. So the way that the admissions process will work is roughly sketching this. So you will apply. I believe the application will open or is open. We will at some point send out a challenge. This is actually a very typical thing that's done in the sort of normal data science interviews, at least all the interviews that I've done. And then we will take the sort of top applicants from the challenge, and there will be some additional interview steps, which I believe is what you're referring to with those semifinalist and finalist monikers. So usually these will occur sort of near the end of the year. So these will occur a few weeks. Basically, we aim to have decisions at least a few weeks, obviously, before the cohort starts.
Thanks, Zach. Our next question is, can you talk about the requirements for technical knowledge prior to the fellowship program? And Zach, I think you'd be able to answer that one as well.
Sure. So I think that data scientists fall on a spectrum between, let's say, software engineers and statisticians, roughly speaking. So I think you want to be the best data scientist, you want to have a little bit of everything. So I think that the people that are most successful tend to have some programming background. It doesn't really matter much what language that you program in. We are a Python shop here, so you'll be programming a lot in Python, but this is something that you can pick up sort of in the time between now and when the program starts. So I suggest that if you want to, this is general for data science, if you want to be successful, I would make sure that you are fairly adept with Python or R or something like that, that you have a really well-grounded understanding of basic statistics. If you're really good, you'll also have some knowledge of Bayesian statistics. But I would say that in terms of our fellowship, I think the more programming you have, the better. And I think also basic sort of familiarity with statistics is also really, really useful. That said, we have, as always, a very wide range of skills of people that come in. Some people are better in other areas, and you will work very, very hard when you're here. And if we allow you to, if we accept you, it does mean that we think you will be successful. And again, I've seen people from a wide variety of backgrounds be very successful.
Thanks, Zach. One other question we have related to this is, are grad students who have mostly worked on non-computational or analytical physics eligible? Do you really take those people who have little to no data science experience? So Zach, I think you could probably also speak about this a little bit more, about people that come into the fellowship program that don't necessarily have a very strong technical background or don't have a lot of experience in data science already.
Yeah, so the reason we exist is not because we're taking people that already know data science and putting them out in the job market. We really are looking to teach and train people who have some of the other skills. So if you're a theoretical physicist and you are really solid with math and you're good at problem solving and you're good at learning, those things are all really important to being, I would say, an effective data scientist in industry. So we have definitely had many fellows that were theoretical physicists, some with stronger programming backgrounds than others. I would say that what I think is really important is if you, one, think that you really like data science, make sure it's something that you really think you want to do, and you're willing to learn and you're willing to learn how to learn about programming. I think those are the important things. We can help you with the rest of it.
Thanks, Zach. Our next question is, does having some online courses in data science like DataCamp or Coursera disqualify? So I can go ahead and cover that. In no way is having previous data science experience disqualifying. As Zach was just saying, having some data science experience is actually quite beneficial. The fellowship itself is quite intense and quite quick moving. So in order to keep on top of learning all the new material and completing all of the coursework, it's actually quite beneficial to have a good bit of experience in data science. But as Zach said, again, that's not necessary or required. Our next question is regarding hiring. So this one's going to be for Amanda. And the question is, in the fellowship FAQ section, it says that we must interview with the hiring partner companies. Does that apply for the online candidates as well?
The online candidates are classified as scholars. So if you're a scholar, whether online or in person, you do not need to interview with our hiring partners. They are still, you're more than welcome if you have the access to it once you get into the fellowship, but no, it is not required.
And one follow-up question to that is, can you tell what is the online/present student ratio? So about how many online students to how many in location students do we have?
So that varies every year and by location. So I'm just going to speak for Oakland. So right now we have less than 10 in person, and online we have probably 20 to 22 people. And the previous cohort in Oakland, we had about 15 in person, and online, I believe we had about 10. And the in present Oakland amount is lower than our two other locations. So it does vary each year, kind of depending on what the applicants ask for their location. So I can physically tell, but I don't know what it's going to be projected for our winter cohort yet.
Right. So the option to participate online or in person is totally up to the fellow themselves. So as Amanda's saying, that varies quite a lot. between cohorts. Next question we have is, how long do semifinalists have to send back the challenge? So what is the amount of time that semifinalists have to complete the challenge? And I think, Zach, you're probably the best one to answer this.
Yeah, so it's going to be a few days. So you get the challenge. The challenge opens at the end of the week, and you'll have sort of the last day or two of the week, and then the weekend to do it. So it's just a few days. I would encourage you on the challenge to do the best you can and to try to answer all of the questions. Remember that these questions are deliberately not easy. We need to be able to tell sort of a bell curve on this one. So we know the questions are not easy. They are not meant to be easy. Please do your best. And remember that we are not accepting only people that can get 100% on the challenge. It's really just, we want to see what you can do. So I really, really encourage you to finish every question to the best of your ability. This will help your application.
Thanks, Zach. Next question I think is going to be for Amanda, and that is, from the 250 plus hiring partners, is there any company from the oil and gas or energy sector?
There is. We have a wider range of hiring partners. So we have healthcare to government to agriculture. Yes, there is. And we are, whether, even if there was only one when you applied, we may have two more by the end of the cohort. We are constantly adding new hiring partners.
And one thing to mention is that, due to the contracts that we have with some of these hiring partners, we can't openly speak about every single one. So unfortunately, we can't name a specific oil and gas company or energy company that we're partnered with currently, but we can definitely say that there are a few that our fellows have been hired by. The next question is, again, this is probably going to be for Amanda, I think would be best suited to answer this, and is, do international students have the same chance as US citizens or people who have working permits in the US, or is the threshold higher for them?
It's not higher. We can accept anybody with a master's or PhD. So I would definitely encourage you to apply, and we will evaluate you on those merits.
Right. So someone's citizenship status does not affect their application at all. As far as obtaining working permits in the US, we do offer some guidance with that, but we don't offer official assistance for fellows to get working permits or to get visas to be able to remain in the US. But we do encourage international students to apply. And as we said, there's no higher threshold for them to get in. The requirements are the same. Everyone is considered based on their merits of their application alone. So the next question is probably for Zach, and it's regarding preparation for the fellowship. So the question is, what sort of person is a successful applicant? Would this be someone who's gone to Kaggle to work on data, or, excuse me, so yeah. Is this someone who's worked with data before and found success with that and excelled at a Kaggle challenge, or is that really required?
I don't think that being a successful Kaggle applicant, I don't think that performing well on Kaggle challenges is necessary to be a successful applicant or even a successful data scientist. There are many Kaggle is a great website, and certainly it is good for certain things. It is not actually necessarily well representative of what sort of data science is like. A lot of times the hard part of data science is actually just sort of figuring out what problem you're trying to answer. So I would say that while certainly any experience you have with modeling or with data in general is good, again, we're really looking for people who have kind of the mathematical and technical problem solving skills. The sort of data part of it, I think, can be learned a lot easier than the problem solving part of it. So I encourage you to go to sites like Kaggle and do all those preparations. Those are great, but they are not required to be successful.
Thank you, Zach. So our next question is, does data science training also prepare you for jobs in the financial sector? For example, is database quantitative analysis better for the financial sector as opposed to modeling? Not sure. Sorry about that. So let's just say, of course, data science training will prepare you for jobs in the financial sector, but it depends on which jobs. If you're looking to become something like a quantitative modeling, or if you're looking to get into something like data engineering within the financial sector, then certainly data science training will prepare you for that. But it really depends on what you want to do. If you're looking to be a trader, or if you're looking to be something else non-technical within the financial sector, then data science probably isn't for you. But if you want to be technical and if you want to really get into quantitative analysis within finance, definitely data science is a good way to go. So the next question.
Just wanted to chime in.
Yeah.
For that previous question, Zach answered the Kaggle part, but for the person who is success, or what entails a successful candidate, I agree with the Kaggle part of it, but I wanted to add on more of the soft skills, personality wise. Being able to articulate yourself well and understanding that the soft skills are just as important in the application process and throughout the fellowship, because your technical skills may get you in the door, that you have an impressive resume, but we really do emphasize being able to speak, being able to talk about the technical skills to a non-technical audience and interviewing well really are going to be what seals the deal. And I would encourage people to not brush the soft skills to the side. So we'll go through the kind of the group interview processes, and we do evaluate your soft skills there. So I wouldn't brush those under the rug. I want to emphasize that those are important, not just in our fellowship, but during the interview preparation process.
Right. So, the important thing to keep in mind is that being a data scientist is about more than just being able to handle data. There's a lot to it. As Zach mentioned before, problem solving is a huge component of it. But then actually becoming a professional data scientist, that requires soft skills, as Amanda was talking about, like communication, that so you can express the ideas that you have in your head and share those ideas with other people. So being a data scientist is about a lot more than just working with data. So the next question we have is, are we free to choose which programming language will be used in the challenge? So Zach, I think you've probably got the answer there.
Yeah, we're a lot more focused on your ability to solve the problem than we are on how you do it. So absolutely, I would encourage you, I would say you probably don't want to be doing it in an Excel, but certainly if you want to do it in R or C or whatever, that is fine with us.
Thanks, Zach. Next question is there an age cutoff? This person is older and looking to transition from working in IT. Amanda, do you want to answer that one?
Sure. There's definitely not an age cutoff. We've had, since I've been here, I would say the oldest person I've seen is maybe in their 60s. So as long as you have that master's degree and PhD, that's kind of our minimum cutoff there. But no, definitely not. And we even have some people who are completing their PhD program and they're 28. So it really just depends on where you are in that educational journey just for that minimum cutoff.
Thanks, Amanda. Next question will be for Zach, and that is real-time streaming data part of the fellowship program?
There will be, there will be a section when we get to Spark on Spark streaming. So in 8 weeks, it's not possible to cover everything that you could ever possibly want to know. So we will cover a little bit of it. It's not really I would say a focus, but it is one of those topics where if you choose to go that way with your capstone, we can definitely provide resources in order to help you learn that. So the short answer is yes, we will cover Spark streaming or structured streaming, but it will not be a sort of massive part. It'll be probably one day.
Thanks, Zach. So the next question is, how much is the paid program, the Scholars Program? So that question is, we don't have the answer to up front. If you'd like some more information about the Scholars Program, I encourage you to visit our site. The link is located in the description of this video. Again, our site is www.theincubator.com. And if you go to the fellowship page there's a section at the bottom where you can enter your information to get some questions about the Scholars Program, and our team will gladly reach out to you and answer any questions that you have. One last question here that we're going to wrap up on because we're getting close to 6. And this question is, do you need to have a PhD or be in a PhD program? And I'll let Amanda answer that one.
So you definitely don't need to be in one. You know, if you've graduated 10 plus years ago, that's completely fine. In terms of if you're in one, we would encourage you to be kind of nearing the end of it. And, you know, that can be, you already have your, when you're defending your dissertation, your thesis, if that's in the works, that's completely fine. But we do tend to encourage people who are within a year from graduating. That can be a little bit of a leap, but it's not a hard and fast rule that you must be at this point in your PhD. But because this is a full-time program, it can be extremely hard to balance our program and your PhD program.
Yeah, I kind of want to emphasize that point. So a lot of people, I always get this question, you know, can I do this along with something else? This is at least a 40-hour per week commitment, often actually more than that. So the only way that you can learn the amount that you'll need to learn in 8 weeks in order to do this, we'll be treating this like a full-time job. So we run 4 cohorts a year. Please apply at the one where you'll be able to devote enough time to get the full sort of everything you can out of it.
Thanks, Zach. And we just had a couple last second questions here that I'm just going to answer real quick before we sign off. So the question is, do you have only one shot at applying, or are you allowed to apply a second time? And the answer to that is that you can apply as many times as you want. There's absolutely no limit on how many times you're allowed to apply for the fellowship program. One other question is, if you don't have a PhD and don't plan to get one, can you do this? And the answer to that is that you must have either a master's or a PhD degree, or be within 1 year of completing either of those degrees. So if you don't have a PhD and you don't plan to get one, then you would need to have a master's degree or be within 1 year of completing a master's degree to be considered for application for the program. And one final question will be, are there later costs for accepted fellows, for example, software licenses, tools, etc.? I believe there is a small cost associated with setting up the virtual machines that are used to host all of the course components, but that is marginal. Zach and Amanda, do either of you have information on what that cost is?
That's probably a better answer for Zach.
Don't quote me on this, but I think it's in the like small $100 or $200 range. This is the cost for us to basically set up the server. So we do all of our work on remote servers, and this is just the cost for that.
Thanks, Zach. So yeah, there's no pricey software licenses to buy. All the softwares and languages that we use are open source softwares, Python, TensorFlow, etc. These are open source softwares that do not use licenses, so they're totally free to use. So that brings us to the conclusion. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Amanda and Zach. Anybody with any other questions, we encourage you to please visit our site at www.thedataincubator.com. There you can find the page for our fellowship program. And any questions that you have, please ask them on the website and someone will definitely get back to you. Just a quick reminder, we have our upcoming free data science webinar. Our monthly webinar series is coming up on October 25th. Our guest this month is going to be Kirk Bourne, Principal Data Scientist for Booz Allen Hamilton. And we're going to be talking about how to use predictive analytics to prescribe the future. You can find information about that on our website. There'll be more information about info sessions coming out on our social media pages. Please visit our social media pages and pay attention to them. Follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter to get all the latest updates on the Data Incubator, as well as visit our website and enter your email there for our newsletter. So that is going to be all for tonight. Thank you again, everyone, for visiting us. Again, thank you, Amanda, and thank you, Zach. Do you guys want to say a quick goodbye?
Zach, go ahead first. you want to.
Sure, yeah. Goodbye, everyone. Hope to see, I guess, some of you out here in Oakland sometime in the near future.
I echo that, and if like he's been mentioning, if you have questions, feel free to send us a message. We're always happy to help, and we really hope to see you guys in Oakland online or in our other locations.
All right, thank you guys. Good night, everybody, and thank you again for joining us. Please visit our website, www.dataincubator.com.